The AAC Report is brought to you by Blake Blahut of Realty One Group. Whether you're looking to buy your very first home or looking to downsize or upgrade, call Blake Blahut anytime at 407-748-0484. This is the AAC Report, only on the Knightline Sports Network. I'm Jeff Allen. Thanks for lending us your ears today. Coming up, we will break down Week 9 and put the magnifying glass to Week 10, including our Spotlight Game of the Week, as number 15 SMU takes on number 24 Memphis in a Saturday primetime on ABC. That also gets the treatment of ESPN's College Game Day on Saturday morning. Meanwhile, last week's Spotlight Game of the Week did not disappoint. Bijan Nichols kicked a 48-yard field goal as time expired to lift Navy over Tulane 41-38. Navy now 6-1 overall, 4-1 in the conference to stay a half game in back of SMU in the West. Navy coach Ken Niumatalolo.
Really happy with our win this past week. It was a tough, hard-fought win versus a very good Tulane football team. We got off to a really good start and was really pleased with the way we started the game. But to Tulane's credit, they fought and hung in there, which doesn't surprise you about them. And a Willie Fritz coach football team, they're always tough and hard-nosed, and so they came storming back. And was proud of the way our guys bounced back at the end and found a way to get a W at the end. As you said, Bijan was a freshman kicker, kicked a game-winning 48-yarder to win. So, really happy with that. And Jamel had a backup fullback and it's kind of come out of nowhere, and he's played really good football for us. So happy for both of them. But it was a really good win for us against a good team at home. And we showed some resiliency and some grit and some resolve there at the end when they came back. And now we got to press forward and get ready for UConn. And both us and UConn are obviously working on a short week, so we got to make sure that we're prepared the best we can. They're coming off a big win over UMass, and so we got to get ready for this game. And Randy's a good coach, and we got to get ready to play.
UConn is coming off a week in which they scored an out-of-conference victory over UMass, 56-35, as Kevin Mensah ran for 164 yards and a career-high 5 touchdowns. Huskies coach Randy Edsall.
Well, I thought we played well this past weekend in really all three phases. Things that you can always get better at and clean up, but we played probably our most complete game, and offensively just really controlled the whole game and did an excellent job of running the football for over 300 yards. And Kevin had an outstanding game with the 5 touchdowns and 164 yards, I think 19 carries. So Kevin's a young man who just works extremely hard each and every day, wants to be better each and every day, and is a guy that takes everything from a personal standpoint to be the best he can be. So you're glad to see that hard work and dedication pay off, and goes without saying the offensive line did an outstanding job as well. And defensively we did some good things there, and we just had some penalties that hurt us and a little bit of a lapse once or twice with some technique issues that gave us some problems. And we've got a tremendous challenge Friday night going against Navy. Ken's got his guys playing very, very well. You watch him on offense, and Malcolm Perry is an outstanding young man and an outstanding football player, and running their offense to perfection. Jamal Carruthers, playing very, very well. So they're very diverse on offense and give you a lot of problems, just not in terms of running the ball, but then what they do off the play action. So we'll have our hands full there, and then watching them defensively, they fly around. They're physical and fly around and run to the ball. So you can see why they're having the success that they're having this year. And as I said, we're going to have a tremendous challenge ahead of us, playing on a short week. and preparing for that offense, and hopefully we can play at that same speed, play at their speed when the game starts, because that's the one problem that this offense gives you, that you don't see it every day, and trying to get your developmental squads to perfect it. It takes more than 4 or 5 days to do that. So, but we'll be ready. And our kids, we just got off the practice field this morning because we had to change our schedule because of the Friday night game. So, but I know our kids will be ready and look forward to playing an outstanding Navy team.
You know, I forgot to break out the calculator to see how many bonuses that Randy Edsall rang up with that big win over UMass. Navy at UConn, Friday night, 8 o'clock on ESPN2. Navy leads the all-time series 8-1. Last time they played was 2016, with Navy securing a 28-24 win. Tulane now tries to rebound from that tough Navy loss as they take on Tulsa this week. Here is Green Wave coach Willie Fritz.
Well, we had a tough game against Navy. We didn't start off very well. We were down 31-14 at half. Really proud of the effort, from the players in the second half, and battle all the way back to make it 38-38, and they drove down the field. Credit them. They hit a long field goal at the buzzer to come away with the win. So it's good, some good things to take away, but, one of the also thing, another thing we need to take away is just doing a better job of coming out of the block fast and playing better and not making critical mistakes. It puts you in that kind of situation where you got to come back from that far of a deficit. This week we're at home, homecoming. We've got Tulsa. Got a lot of respect for Coach Montgomery and what he's done over there. They are playing really well. They played a tough schedule, maybe the toughest in our conference. And then, had a game, missed a chip shot field goal to win last week against Memphis at the end of the game. I know it's going to be a tough, hard-nosed competition between the two squads. We're both, a little coming off tough losses, but it'll be a great ball game. And offensively, they've got a lot of firepower on the offensive side of the ball. Big team. This is one of the bigger teams that we've played. I've been really surprised at how many big guys he's got on both the offensive and defensive line. So look forward to the game on Saturday.
So Tulsa just missed out on upsetting Memphis, losing 42-41 as Jacob Rainey missed a 29-yard field goal as the clock ran out. Golden Hurricanes coach Philip Montgomery.
Yeah, we faced a really, really talented Memphis team, and Coach Norvell and his staff, I think, do an outstanding job. Got a lot of talent on both sides of the ball, but just explosive talent offensively. And so, it was a dogfight of a game. We got behind a little bit early and fought our way all the way back, and had an opportunity to win there late, and just didn't make the play we needed to make right there. But extremely proud of our football team and the way they continue to be relentless and continue to keep fighting. Their determination has been outstanding throughout the year, and really feel like we've had a lot of good opportunities against great quality opponents, and been right there in the midst of it all, and just got to make a play here or there to get out on top of it. As we look forward to Tulane, got to go on the road. That's always a tough place to play. I think Willie and his staff doing a great job, and again, another really talented team. As you break them down and look at them, explosive offensively, always really good defensively, very sound in what they do, and so be a great test for us as we prepare to go on the road and try to get us a big road win.
Tulsa at Tulane, Saturday, 4 o'clock on ESPN2. Tulsa leads the all-time series 11-4, and they won last year's meeting by a 24-17 score. Tulsa at Tulane. I am always flip-flopping. If I'm thinking about Tulsa, I say Tulane and vice versa. So hopefully, when I do the scoreboard on Andrew Fagley's Knightline the morning after on ESPN 580 Orlando, I will actually mention the correct team winning, whether it be Tulsa or Tulane. South Florida rolled over East Carolina 45-20. Jordan Cronkrite rushed for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Bulls even their record of 4-4, 2-2 in the conference. Bulls head coach Charlie Strong.
Well, it's really good to get the win, and just the way we played. Anytime you go win on the road, and it's a conference game, it's really big. And our guys went out and we played well, was able to run the football very well against a really good ECU team. And then defensively, we were able to make plays and get off the field. But we have this week off, and then we start a preparation for Temple, knowing that's a big game and it's at home here. So we need the week off so that we can get some bumps and bruises. Guys need to get healthy, but also to continue to work on our fundamentals and technique. So it came at the right time for us, and it's good that we're going to start our preparation. And like I said, Temple being the team they are and what they've done, we know that we have to get ready for them.
So the Bulls go on a bye. Meanwhile, East Carolina drops to 3-5, 0-4 in conference as they get set to host number 17 Cincinnati. Here is Pirates coach Mike Houston.
Well, obviously we're disappointed in the loss this past Saturday against South Florida. I was very, very impressed with the size and speed and athleticism and just the way they played on Saturday. You knew from watching film that pretty formidable defense. They had been a little up and down offensively throughout the year, but I thought they really executed well on the offensive front. Did a really good job not only with the tailback Cronkite in the run game, but did a good job with the quarterback run scheme that they had there Saturday. And we had our opportunities. We had the ball 4 times, inside the 15 or so yard line, and came away with 3 points out of those 4 drives, 2 turnovers, and got stopped on a turnover on downs. And we got to capitalize on those opportunities, because if we had there in the first half, it's probably a little different situation at halftime. Probably a very tight game. And that changes really everything about the way the game's played. So disappointed our mistakes, offensively and defensively that, let the game get away from us. But the players were disappointed. They came back yesterday, had a good look at the film, very positive attitude, practice yesterday afternoon. And then they're excited to be back at home again this week. Obviously, it doesn't get any easier. We got a very, very good Cincinnati team. I think one of the better teams in the conference, one of the better teams in the country. They had a bye last week, so they've had a couple of weeks to get ready. They very sound, all 3 phases, big, physical. They have good speed. They play with edge. They don't beat themselves. They really take advantage of, opponents' mistakes, do a great job forcing turnovers. Just really respect, watching the film, just the way they play. Obviously Luke's done a great job of putting together a complete football team. So, it'll be a great challenge here on this Saturday. I think our guys will be really excited to play. They'll be excited to be back at home. And we'll be prepared and be ready to go at it. And, hopefully we'll have enough in us to find a way to get a win Saturday.
The Bearcats are coming off a bye, coming into the ECU contest. Cincinnati head coach Luke Fickell.
Bye weeks are kind of always tricky. In some ways, they're a good thing, because you get to rest a little bit as players, as coaches. You get away from each other. Sometimes when you're playing well and things are going well, you kind of get out of rhythm and lose a little bit of momentum. So, I think in both ways for us, we needed it in some ways. We got some guys banged up in the last game, and hopefully we can, get some of those guys back. But also we, had some momentum going and had a routine going after 3 or 4 weeks of some normalcy. So I think it was good for us, though. We got to actually get away, players and coaches, a little bit on Friday, Saturday, and then come back in here on Sunday and get rolling. And it's always that same kind of thing, is how long do you prepare for the next week, because 18 to 22-year-olds as well as coaches can sometimes get bored doing the same things over and over again if you spend too much time preparing, 2 weeks for one game. So hopefully we got a good balance, and we'll get back at it.
Cincinnati at East Carolina, Saturday night, 7 o'clock, CBS Sports Network. ECU leads the all-time series 13-9, but Cincinnati won in blowout fashion last year by a score of 56-6. UCF rolled to a 63-21 win at Temple behind Otis Anderson's career-high 205 rushing yards. Knights head coach Josh Heupel.
Pleased with the way our guys went and performed on the road against a really good football team. Thought it was our best game, putting 3 phases of the game together for a majority of the football game. We obviously got a lot that we can still be a whole lot better at. That's a challenge for us this week as we get ready for a Houston football team. I know our kids are excited about getting back home and getting a chance to play in front of the home crowd.
Temple limps into the bye week on a 2-game losing streak. Owls head coach Rod Carey.
No, disappointed with the game, obviously. The second half especially. First half, and then we stopped them. First series, had the ball at the 50-yard line to tie the game up and didn't do anything, and then it just kind of unraveled from there, and we had execution problems over the course of the second half that led to big plays, and they're an explosive team, so you give them credit. They capitalized on our mistakes like a good team should. So we're back at it, trying to get that corrected, learn from it, and move forward, and getting ready for the Bulls. We got to rest and recover and try to get as many guys back as we can this week, and then get ready for a short week next week. So really, it's not a complete bye week. So it's we got to multitask here a little bit, and we'll do that.
Getting back to the Knights, they take on Houston in their annual space-themed game as the Cougs come off a 34-31 loss to the SMU Mustangs. Cougars head coach Dana Holgerson.
Well, just, was really proud of how the guys fought, last Thursday night. We, didn't give up. There was a couple of points in the game where it felt like we probably could have, and we didn't, and gave ourselves a chance to win there at the end. Hopefully, we'll just put our head down and keep working hard, and, and hopefully at some point here in the very near future, we'll win some of those games. So, doesn't get any easier for us. We go to Central Florida here on Friday night, play them at I believe it's 11 a.m. There in Orlando, and it's a hard place to play down there, and they're doing a heck of a job. Josh is doing a great job. Randy Shannon defensively is doing a really good job. Those guys are sound on defense and explosive on offense. Be a challenging place for us to go play. So. Life in the American, and it is what it is.
And now for my Nickelsworth on UCF, because 2 cents is not enough. Biggest thing that impressed me in the victory was the offensive linemen played like they've been billed to be. There was a lot of discussion how this could be their most talented offensive line they've ever had at UCF, and that was a picture-perfect performance as they completely dominated and took the will away from the Temple defense. And the rushing game was huge with Otis, my man Anderson. Yes, he was able to overcome the 2 muff punts and make up for it by rushing for 205 yards, got a touchdown, and he was just electric and did a great job having to shoulder the load after Adrian Killens went out once again. Killens expected to be back this week. And Bentavious Thompson getting some extra time as well. I like the way he plays. He runs a lot like McCray, but he's an even bigger guy. So he's definitely taking advantage of his playing time when he gets it, and seems to produce every time out. The defense, boy, how they suffocated Temple in the second half. I mean, they could do nothing. So a great job, and credit to Randy Shannon for that. And Aaron Robinson getting the 2 picks, and the Knights just totally throttled the Owls, and that third quarter was just tremendous to watch. And then, of course, as we go into this weekend with the space theme, oh my goodness, the space uniforms. 3rd season they've done this, and they just keep getting better and better, and that helmet has to be the greatest football helmet I have ever seen in my life. It is now my It's now my backdrop on my desktop, my phone, my watch, you name it. It's I've got it plastered everywhere. It's a great-looking helmet, great-looking uniform, and should be great doings. Houston at UCF at noon Saturday on ESPN2. The Knights lead the all-time series 5-3. Last time they played in 2016, though, it was the Cougars winning by a count of 31-24. And coming up, we will take a look at our Spotlight Game of the Week. Number 15, SMU. Number 24, Memphis. All that and more when the AAC Report continues. Only on the Knightline Sports Network in just a moment. Are you tired of the endless money pit of paying rent? Do you have a home you need to sell for top dollar? Talk to the Hometown Advantage award-winning real estate professional and fellow UCF Knight, Blake Blahut of Realty One Group. Blake has proven to produce results and a smooth process for his clients all across Central Florida. Whether you're looking to buy your very first home or looking to downsize or upgrade, talk to Blake Blahut. Visit him at his website, Blake'sOrlandoHomes.com, or contact him anytime at 407-748-0484. Again, Blake'sOrlandoHomes.com and 407-748-0484. Get the hometown advantage by working with Blake. It's a big Western Division showdown as number 15 SMU visits number 24 Memphis in our Spotlight Game of the Week. Frank Murtaugh of the Memphis Flyer and Memphis Magazine will join us in a few moments to break it down. ESPN's College Game Day will originate from Memphis, and the game gets the primetime Saturday night slot on ABC. The Mustangs come in having outlasted Houston 34-31 as Xavier Jones rushed for 133 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 62-yard scamper for 6. Here's Ponies head coach Sonny Dykes.
Yeah, look, I think number one, it's good for our league. I heard the end of Ken talking a second ago, and look, this league is fighting for respect. I don't think we get probably the respect that we deserve. You just look at the teams in the league and the games week in and week out. I mean, it's just really good football, and so I think it's from that standpoint, it's important for our league. I think as far as we're concerned, it's an opportunity to establish a little bit of credibility for us. I don't know when the last time SMU had a primetime football game was, but I would imagine it's been a while. So those are always opportunities to put your best foot forward and to get on people's radar. And as coaches, we don't care too much about that kind of thing. I mean, we kind of always have a bunker mentality. All coaches do, but it's good for your players. It's exciting for them. It's a chance for a lot of good football players that we have on our team and a lot of players that Memphis has on their team to get some national recognition, which they deserve. Because, as I said earlier, I mean, if there's a better running back in the country than Gainwell, I mean, I don't know who it is. I mean, he's, just because he is so unique in what he can do. And so, I think it'll be fun for people to have a chance to see him play and see, guys for us play like, Shane Buechele and has had a great year for us. And, and Rodney Clemens and Pat Nelson and guys like that to go out in front of a national TV audience and show everybody, what they can do.
SMU is 8-0 for the first time since 1982, 4-0 in conference. Memphis avoided a big upset at Tulsa, holding on to win 42-41. Kenneth Gainwell, who had 149 yards rushing, scored his third touchdown with 4:29 left in the game to put the Tigers on top. And then they survived as the Golden Hurricanes missed the game-winning field goal attempt to move to 7-1 and 3-1 in conference. Tigers head coach Mike Norvell.
Our guys, go on the road, being able to get a victory there against a Tulsa team that played extremely well. It was a wild game. We knew it was going to be a 60-minute contest, down to the very end, and it lived up to that. There's some things that, obviously we have to continue to improve on.
and get corrected as the season progresses. But our guys, I thought played at a high level, and then we're able to respond to some situations, especially when Tulsa took the lead there late. Really proud of our guys who've been able to drive the ball down and score the go-ahead touchdown, which was critical in that time. But that all leads up to this week, and obviously we're excited with an opportunity for our university, for our program to be showcased on a national stage against an undefeated and extremely talented and well-coached SMU team. Provides a wonderful opportunity, and we're excited to continue to work to improve as a program. And I can tell you that our guys, they understand that we've got to play at our best level to give ourselves a chance to be successful. But it's going to be a great atmosphere. Being able to play here at home, 2 nationally ranked teams. This is why you do what you do, and we're definitely fired up for it.
And it's time now to dig further into our Spotlight Game of the Week. Number 15, SMU. Number 24, Memphis. Joining us now to break it all down is Frank Murtaugh. He is the managing editor of Memphis Magazine, covers sports for the Memphis Flyer, and a constant and frequent guest on our program. It's always good to have you here, Frank.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. Good to be with you.
Well, it is a big week for Memphis football as ESPN's College Game Day will be on the scene, prime time, Saturday night with ABC, and throughout the course of our meetings over the season, you have told me several times how Memphis football was not a big deal for a long time, and now it looks like a big deal.
Yeah, Jeff, it's astonishing. Lee Corso and his pals picked the right weekend to come to town because there has never before been at the Liberty Bowl since the Tigers moved in some 55 years ago. There's never been a November football game between 2 ranked teams with no more than 1 loss between them. So this is, for these parts, Memphis, Tennessee, this is an epic clash between Memphis and SMU. And, Jeff, there's just so much at stake. You got the American Conference's West Division lead, a chance at getting to the AAC Championship, which every team is aspiring to at this time of year, and then out there, but not that far out there, is a New Year's Six bowl berth. So there's so much riding on the 60 minutes of football we're going to see Saturday night, and the town is abuzz, and it's somewhat ironic because the basketball team starts its season next Tuesday night, and typically that would already be stealing headlines from the football team, but not this season.
Yeah, and of course you mentioned this game with so much at stake. SMU is coming in undefeated and leading the West Division. Memphis, with a victory, really takes the driver's seat because they would have had defeated SMU. They've already got a game on Navy in hand, so that really puts them in a great position if they can score that victory on Saturday night.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of football left. They've still got, Houston and Cincinnati on the schedule, and they travel to USF. A lot of football to be played, but the fact is you got to win this week. All those aspirations I just mentioned, all those goals, to achieve them, Tigers have to beat the Mustangs Saturday night, and that's going to be a formidable order. It's the type of game, that you think about what ABC wants to put on for a national audience Saturday night. It's this kind of football game. 2 terrific teams are going to line up the scoreboard.
Yeah, and a de facto playoff game for all intents and purposes. So tell me a little bit about the excitement with College Game Day coming. Have they picked a location yet?
They have, yeah. There was some debate for the first maybe 24 hours since they announced they were coming to town, but very, very quickly, I believe, the ESPN folks decided on Beale Street. So it's going to be downtown. There was some discussion of having it on what's called Tiger Lane outside the Liberty Bowl, where fans will congregate to tailgate. But the Beale Street look is going to be right for game day. And the fact is, the University of Memphis is a city school as much as it is a town, or this isn't a college town as you would define some place like Ann Arbor or Columbus or Gainesville or Baton Rouge, some of the places that more typically hosts game day. So I think it'll be a good look for Memphis. It's going to be a little chilly, but I think sunny Saturday morning. So we'll tune in and check it out. It's going to be exciting. Yeah.
So how is the fan base reacting to all this with this marquee program coming to town to broadcast and talk about Memphis football?
They're over the moon. I've had some people I know and on my various social media feeds almost mock the new Tiger fans or the bandwagon Tiger fans who weren't there as recently really as 6 or 7 years ago when this team was really at the bottom not only of the American Athletic Conference but the bottom nationally, and they're not going to part with their tickets to this prize football game. It's a 180-degree shift in perspective, Jeff, really over the course of a decade. Memphis started the season, the first 2010-2011 that started the decade, with 3 wins in 2 years. And here they are playing on ABC, prime time, with Kirk Herbstreit and Lee Corso in the neighborhood. It's a bizarro world, but it's a very welcome world for those of us who have followed Tiger football for some time.
Well, the one bit of advice I would give to Tiger fans is especially if you're going to the game, and I know it's a long day, but if at all possible, do both College Game Day and the football game. It's a long day, but it'll be totally worth it, having gone through that experience here last year with UCF in Cincinnati and in a first-time visit. And now this is the second year in a row the American Athletic Conference gets a showcase on this national program, which is such a great boost.
Oh yeah, isn't that great? I mean, it's like you say, 2 years in a row for a non, quote unquote Power 5 league. It speaks to the talent level of the league and the competitiveness. I mean, and you look at the league right now, Jeff. There are 3 teams in the top 25. You got a Tulsa team that's 0-4 in the league, but took both SMU and Memphis right to the wire. So I mean, the Golden Hurricane should have beaten the Tigers last week. Guy misses a field goal as time expires. So it's a good league. There are good games every week, and I think it's gaining ground and some traction with those who pay attention nationally, as we're going to see Saturday morning with the game day crew.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because so they do have a common opponent in Tulsa, which is they've got the toughest 0-4 that you could possibly have.
No doubt. As
they had SMU down by 21, and they had Memphis right there for the taking, and so both teams had their struggles with Tulsa. How do you see this game playing out? I mean, SMU's got a lot of octane on offense. Memphis can match them point for point. I think it's going to come down to whose defense can make the most stops. Would you think?
Yeah, Jeff. I was crunching numbers today and trying to figure out if there's an edge anywhere, and they match up almost across the board. The one thing that stuck out for me, that the Tiger defense is second in the American Athletic Conference. That they give up. The pass defense, and they give up less than 200 yards a game. And then you got Shane Buechele, one of the top quarterbacks in the league, who's going to be hurling the ball for SMU. That's a matchup that might swing things the Tigers' way if they can contain him, maybe force a turnover. On the other hand, SMU is better against the run than they are against the pass, and the Tigers' redshirt freshman Kenneth Gainwell has been their star so far this year. He's going to go over 1,000 yards Saturday night. So if anything, I would look at how Memphis can contain, if they can contain, Mr. Buechele and the SMU offense. And I understand, one of their top receivers is nursing foot injury, Reggie Robertson. So we'll have to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, and I would think Sonny Dykes is having nightmares about Kenneth Gainwell. What he is doing is remarkable, both rushing and receiving. Can you address a little bit about what he has been doing that has been so spectacular?
Yeah, he's an amazing talent, Jeff. It's an interesting story. He was going to be a backup to Patrick Taylor, a big bruising tailback that ran for 1,000 yards for the Tigers last season, but hurt his ankle in the season opener this year and has been nursing that ever since. Gainwell stepped in, a kid from Yazoo City, Mississippi, and he's got 6 straight 100-yard games on the ground. He had a 200-yard receiving game 2 weeks ago against Tulane. He's one of those low center of gravity tailbacks. I guess for old schoolers in the Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders category, and he's a difference maker. He can catch the ball out of the flat, downfield, and of course carry between tackles. So he's going to be a handful for the Mustang defense. He had a late fumble against Tulsa, so that's something to watch. The Tigers are going to have to protect the ball. This is a game where a turnover, third quarter, fourth quarter could make the difference. So, but Kenneth Gainwell, I imagine Sonny Dykes, as you said, is watching more Kenneth Gainwell film he planned on in August as they prepare for this game.
Yeah, no question. It's like, Memphis is starting to think about becoming running back You look at Henderson and Pollard from last year now in the National Football League, and boy, they just have amassed some great talent on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah, they're just plugging them in. And, hats off to the Tiger defensive line, too. Dustin Woodard's their star at center, Dylan Parham, a left guard. They've had the same 5 starters in the offensive line all 8 games to this point. And having a healthy offensive line that's playing in sync with a talented tailback and a quarterback like Brady White, who he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's got 20 touchdown passes and only 4 interceptions to this point. That's a pretty good combination, and it leads to scoring around 40 points a game like the Tigers have. And the thing is, though, SMU can say virtually the same thing. So it's going to be quite a clash.
Yeah. So how do you think it's going to turn out if you were able to look into the crystal ball?
Well, I'm not sure they let me in the stadium if they got word that I picked the Mustangs. So I'm going to go with the Tigers, and I'm convinced there's going to be a fourth quarter turnover that makes the difference. I think that these two teams are going to go back and forth, and I think ABC is going to be pleased with the audience they have late into the night, and there'll be a turnover that goes the Tigers' way. And whether it's a field goal or touchdown, I'm not going to pick that. But I see the Memphis winning the football game.
All right, and before I let you go, as you mentioned, Memphis basketball about to get underway. A lot of excitement going into year 2 under Penny Hardaway. Number 14 preseason ranking and a preseason All-American to James Wiseman.
It's a really exciting time, Jeff. The Tigers have had a couple of exhibition games now under their belt. Wiseman has not played. He's nursing an ankle injury that we're told is minor, and that he's going to be ready for opening night. That's given some other guys a chance to get on the court in these exhibition games, and they've looked pretty good. They won handily against a couple of small schools here in town. Lester Quinones is a kid you're going to have to pay attention to, and Precious Achiuwa is the other 5-star recruit they have, and he's looked terrific. Looks like an NBA player already. So I think the Tigers, if they gel properly, and if Wiseman is a shadow of what prognosticators say he is, it's going to be a fun basketball season here in Memphis too.
Yeah, well, we'll have to talk again when we start doing our basketball previews for the upcoming season. That is for sure. So Frank Murtaugh, from the managing editor of the Memphis Magazine and also covers sports for the Memphis Flyer. Enjoy Saturday. It's a great. It really is. I can speak from experience, having gone through it last year. It is a great day and a source of pride for the university and for the city. So make sure you take it all in.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. I'm looking forward to it. I hope Memphis does attract the right reaction from a national crowd. I think we will. It's an amazing town. Beale Street's an amazing entertainment venue, and right now we have an amazing football program. So it should be a pretty good combination Saturday.
All right, sounds good. We will talk to you again down the road. Thank you, Frank.
Appreciate it, Jeff.
Yes, and I cannot stress how important it is that, for the second year in a row, the American lands a marquee matchup in getting ESPN's College Game Day to broadcast not only the pregame show, the Saturday morning show that starts it all off with this great music that when you hear this, it's time for football. And then they get the primetime slot on ABC. We encourage our Memphis listeners to make sure you show out. UCF set the bar high last year. Go for it. Show out. Make it look good, not just for Memphis, but for the AAC. SMU and Memphis, again, Saturday night, 7:30 ABC. Memphis leads the all-time series 8-3, and they won last year's meeting 28-18. Let's check out the honor roll, the offensive players of the week. Kevin Mensah, the running back from UConn, as we mentioned, 164 yards and 5 touchdowns in the UConn win over UMass. And their co-offensive players of the week this week, Jamil Carruthers of Navy, the fullback, rushed for 154 yards, 3 touchdowns, and had a 31-yard TD reception in the midshipman victory over Tulane. Defensive player of the week, Patrick Nelson of SMU, 7 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 3.5 tackles for loss in SMU's win over Houston. And the special teams player of the week, Bijan Nichols, with the game-winning field goal for Navy in that victory over Tulane. Dylan Gabriel, UCF, made the honor roll with his 218-yard, 3 TD passing performance in the victory over Temple. And shockingly, Otis Anderson did not make the honor roll, at the very least. Could have put him in the argument for Offensive Player of the Week. I can get, Kevin Mitz had 5 touchdowns and 164 yards. That's pretty solid. Carruthers for Navy, as we mentioned, he had 4 touchdowns with 154 yards, 3 of them on the ground, 1 receiving in the end zone. But Otis had to at least make the honor roll. And, Dylan had a solid game, but it was not spectacular. So, shame on the folks who make those decisions. Checking out other sports in the American men's soccer after a record-breaking 5-goal performance versus Cincinnati on Saturday night, Garrett McLaughlin was named the United Soccer Coaches National Player of the Week. And it comes on the heels of being named the AAC Offensive Player of the Week. Again, he had 5 goals in that 7-1 conference win at Cincinnati. The Defensive Player of the Week, Pierre Cayette of Temple. He was formidable on both ends of the pitch in 2-1 wins over Louisville and UConn. He had a header goal in both games, including the game winner in the 61st minute against UConn. The goalkeeper of the week, Yannick Otel of UCF, collected his 4th shutout of the season, making 5 saves to push UCF to that nice 1-0 win in the War on I-4 at USF. In this week's rankings, UCF at number 6 in the United Soccer Coaches Poll, SMU at number 12. And in the standings, the Knights with 13 points lead the way with a 4-0-1 conference mark, 11-1-2 overall. Memphis at 12 points in second place. They are 4-1 in conference, 10-4 overall. Women's soccer, well, I probably should just put this on a recording because Evelyn Vians of USF was once again named the Offensive Player of the Week, scored in both of their victories, had the game-winning goal in the 1-0 win over Cincinnati, and the insurance goal in the victory over East Carolina. Defensive Player of the Week, Ashley Barron of Cincinnati. They did not allow a shot on goal against the UCF Knights, and she also tallied the game-winning goal. Goalkeeper of the week, Sydney Martinez of USF. 1 goal in 180 minutes in goal for the Bulls, 2 wins last week. And in the United Soccer Coaches Poll, Memphis checks in at number 10. USF is at number 24 in the standings. Memphis at 22 points, 7-0-1 in conference, 15-1-1 overall leads the way. South Florida at 7-1 in conference, 12-3 overall for 21 points. So they're just a single point behind there. Volleyball, Cincinnati and Houston each remain to top their respective divisions of the AAC. Following 5 weeks of league play, Cincinnati rolled past both Memphis and SMU in 3 sets. They are 9-1 in the East. Houston split road matches at UCF and USF to keep hold of the West Division at 8-2. Cincinnati holds a tiebreaker over the Knights at 9-1 in the East, while Houston is a full game up on SMU, who is 7-3 in the West. The Offensive Player of the Week, Jordan Thompson of Cincinnati, powered the Bearcats during their 2-0 week. In both total kills with 45 and kills per set 7.5. And she had 17 kills and an ace in a sweep of Memphis on Friday. Defensive Player of the Week, Mackenzie Kuchmaner of UCF. She was the defensive leader in a pair of wins for the Knights last weekend, averaging 5.57 digs per set. Well, coming up on the Knightline Sports Network, our good friend Adam Eaton will get you ready on Knightline Extra for the UCF Houston showdown in the space-themed game at the Bounce House. And it'll all be recapped, first of all, on ESPN 580 Orlando on Knightline's The Morning After with Andrew Fagley and friends. And then Andrew and Trace Trulco will have the Knightline podcast for you Sunday night into Monday morning. Adam will be back with Mike for Sons of UCF, and then we'll also recap all the week in the American on the AAC Report. One last note before we go, and it is sad news. We've heard about the passing of former UCF offensive coordinator Charlie Taff. He was the offensive coordinator under George O'Leary between 2009 and 2014. Longtime coach in college football, as a head coach, an assistant coach, and certainly one of the great guys. Was running quarterback camps for high school quarterbacks in the state. And, of course, very notably, fantastic game plan as the Knights beat Baylor in the 2014 Tostitos Fiesta Bowl with the running of Blake Bortles, the the bubble passes to Speedy Hall, and Coach Charlie Taff certainly had a great impact on UCF football. He passes away after a short battle with cancer, and may he rest in peace. Coach Charlie Taff was 69.